works at the steel mill, she's damn near every day. Leaves for work when the sun comes up, drops the kids to school along the way. Joe has everything he dreamed of, all the treasures that he needs. No wonder Joe's always smiling.
Thank you for joining us and either tuning in on the Newsplex Now channel, and you're understanding why every time I do the Bill Howard Golf Tournament, I sit here and I say, why don't I come here every day to Birdwood Golf Course? Look at the view. If you're watching now, I'm sacrificing. I can't see the view. You can. It's over our shoulder, past Dargan Cogshall's head from the LearningRx. We were visiting with Morgan and her dad, Rick, about the LearningRx a little bit here because the first round of tee-offs are getting ready for the Bill Howard Golf Tournament. Dargan, real quick, though, since we're talking Alzheimer's here, and you do have senior programs at the LearningRx, don't you?
We do. It's actually one of our fastest growing segments with age-related cognitive decline. We're seeing more and more baby boomers come in and enhance their thinking skills as strong as they can be so that they prolong their independence.
Well, I appreciate that aspect of it. But Morgan, now you're 15 years old. You're a homeschool kid, but you were struggling to retain all this stuff. At what point did you think that there was something that you were doing versus something that was happening with the homeschooling? Because I'm sure you have friends that go to traditional schools, public schools. So when did you feel like you needed to do something to help yourself get past these cognitive issues you were having?
Well, it's been throughout my life where people would be able to read faster than I did, and it was very discouraging.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would try different things that my parents would bring up, and I thought that I always needed help because I couldn't retain information.
Well, I can only imagine, because I remember what I was like when I was 15. You just immediately assumed the worst. Is that what happened?
Yeah, I was like, I'm never going to do this, I'm never going to do that.
Never is the favorite word of the young teenagers. I'm never going to learn to drive. I'm never going to be able to get a job. I'm never going to be able to get this education down. So how did you guys come across the LearningRx? What drew you to it?
Well, I heard you talk about it on the radio.
Oh, go on!
I'm serious.
That never happens.
there were a lot of. I heard a lot about it that way, and then I'm not quite sure where my wife found out about it. Probably ads on the radio talking about it. And as we talked about before, as a parent, we were at a point we were willing to try anything because, again, it was just a spiral downward.
You want your kid to be able to. Now, do you have any brothers and sisters, Morgan?
Yeah, I have an older sister and a younger brother.
And they were, I'm sure, completely and totally supportive of Morgan through this, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's actually pretty cool. Good parents then in that. So when you went to see Dargan at the LearningRx, what did you expect? Was there expectation? I'm kind of curious from the standpoint is that they heard about it on this program. So I'm wondering, am I painting a good word picture, or was it completely different than I made it sound?
No, actually, it was. I don't think we realized how hard of work it was going to be, right? Until you go in and they sit down with you and they say, this is what. Yeah. This is the kind of training you're going to have, and you think, oh my gosh, I can't even do this.
Well,
how is
join the club? I assume.
So I don't know if we had any expectations or anything like that.
Now, Morgan, how quickly did you start to sense that things were changing? I mean, obviously, I remember when I got that assessment. All of a sudden, I was like, oh. That's what my problem was. Did you feel that even when they went over the assessment with you?
Yeah, I would look at things, and when, like, the first week, I felt like that I did a little bit better, and each week it got better and better and better, and then I looked at the test results, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, that's a nice feeling. It's like, hey, look at this. Did you feel that also as you were going through the school? Now all of a sudden being as a homeschool kid, you were feeling like you were keeping up with your friends?
Yeah, I was able to do math very quickly, and it didn't take hours upon hours to do something.
Rick, when you guys were going through this, when was the first sense that she was retaining? I guess that was you mentioned this in the other segment, is that retention was one of the big issues. Was that you would teach and it would seem to go in, and then you'd come back later, and there was a struggle with trying to find that information that was there the first time. When was the first time you noticed that there was a real good retention gain?
I think in the first couple of weeks, because we could first see it in her reading. She would be able to, explain. I think that was the first thing. Be able to tell us what she just read, tell us what we were just studying, where before that was such a struggle.
So when you did it, and she's already told me this, so I'm asking a question I already know the answer to. What was, Morgan, your favorite part of doing this? And by favorite, I mean quote-unquote favorite part. Did you...
Anytime that we would look at it from a different angle, anything that I was able to understand, I was like, I like this.
Well, did you have the same see now as an older person, as an adult, when I would sit there and I'd hate the 9 times tables and things like that, but you had mentioned the President's Game, which, by the way, is part of their visualization. Don't steal the thunder here, but being able to recite the presidents forwards and backwards, I always found that challenging. Everyone in between Jackson and FDR, I had trouble with, but you said that was pretty good for you as well? Yeah,
it was really fun because I would take down seconds every few seconds. I would be like, yes, I got a few more seconds off my time.
Dargan, is that part of that, is to have, really good, accessible, obvious points of progress that a student or I guess a client of the LearningRx can feel as they go through?
Sure. I mean, anytime you're targeting deficits, being able to demonstrate to people who don't even want to get up in the morning and go do their schooling that they are making progress, and each session they see incremental progress, that emboldens them to come apply more effort the next time. And effort is how you change the neural pathways, not accomplishment, effort.
Well, thank you guys very much. LearningRx.com/Charlottesville. Morgan, thank you so much. Rick, thank you. And thanks for what you do as a homeschool parent as well, because that's really, really a challenging thing to do. And thanks for watching in here. We'll get to Elliot in a moment.